All right, hello and greetings to you, viewer from across the tubes. I am Gnarly Quack, although my friends and enemies call me Carl, and I am back working on Dr. Strangetest, my testing framework for PHP. And it's been a lazy Labor Day here, and darkness has fallen, so we'll just kind of see how things go tonight. I was kind of just hanging out and didn't really have anything to do, so I figured maybe I would hop on and try and make a little progress here on the old testing framework. But usually that I feel like that sort of pretends making kind of silly mistakes and losing focus and just kind of getting tired. But we'll see what happens. So let's get into it. So the last things I had been working on, and let me just get into my directories here so I don't try and type silly stuff while talking. The last thing I'd been working on was sort of updating the formatting API and within the framework to make it a little bit more flexible, so that the module or the file that then generates diffs or difference formats differences can get the formatted. Well, the formatting API is used to sort of like pretty print out variables in pretty print PHP variables, and so I made it a little bit more flexible how that information gets returned back to the module that handles formatting differences, so that because what we were really doing is we were getting back a string, right? The formatting API was putting together a string for us, and then that was getting returned back to the format or the difference module, and then that difference module was immediately, in many cases, pulling apart that string and doing additional formatting. So instead of having to put together a string, pull it apart, do some additional formatting, and put it back together, I had sort of refactored the formatting API to pass back the formatted value one line at a time, so we could then do additional formatting on that line without having to then break all those lines apart again. So that's kind of where, after some struggling with refactoring and flakiness on my part, that's where things sort of ended up. And all of this was sort of motivated by extending the framework's difference algorithm to handle sort of arbitrary Boolean comparisons within PHP, because PHP allows you to basically do arbitrary Boolean comparisons between any values of any type, not just like, say, scalar values like numbers. So in the case one of those comparisons fails, we wanted to provide, or we'd like to provide, sort of a meaningful message back to the user what failed in the comparison. And whereas the difference algorithm was just doing basically strictly equal or unequal, we are now handling less than, greater than, and providing hopefully informative differences back to the user. So that's kind of this whole path that's been going on. It's been about 2 weeks of streams here. And I keep saying I think the light is at the end of the tunnel, or we're basically done, and I walk into a landmine or something. So anyway, let's I guess let's get into it. I think we have a clean directory here, and I believe all our tests are passing. And now things should be a lot quicker now that the code or the files, I guess, have been cached by the OS. But anyway. And so I'm a little bit unsure of how to proceed with this. So what, let's see, I guess we have this like format value function here. And as you can see here, we basically create now a formatter object. And then depending on what sort of value we want to format, we call the appropriate method on that object. And that ends up sort of creating an array in the formatter of formatted lines. And then to sort of just keep compatibility with what we're already doing, we immediately just implode that array and return that. And sort of part of the reason for that is, I guess here in, I guess it doesn't really matter which function I go to, but like copy string here right now, we get the string and we immediately explode it. And in this case, well, in every case, we're then reversing that array and then adding the applicable sort of diff operation to the resulting diff array. And this is one of the problems I'm trying to deal with here is the original algorithm, the way the difference is generated. Essentially, we end up building kind of the, I don't know what you want to call it, the edit string, or the string that shows you what changes need to be made to go from, you know, one to the other. You end up building that string in reverse. But as I sort of floundered around with extending this to support less than and greater than comparisons, it turns out that difference array we can build in order. But the problem now is if we just try and sort of format a whole value, like a composite value, a multi-line value, like an array or object, and then just try and add that to the difference array, these functions here are reversing it, because up until this point we've always assumed we're building the difference array in reverse. And so I guess there's a couple things I can do. We can, and I'm not quite sure how I best want to tackle this. This can go from, I suppose, taking like a string to probably not like an array of strings, but some sort of iterable of strings. And the iterable that we pass in can either be like a forward iterable or a reverse iterable. I need to say that word less. And then instead of doing all this, we could just iterate through the iterable and then add those lines or add these operations to the array. But then it sort of seems like this function doesn't really justify its existence. Like we could just do that here up in the higher level function. So here, like copy value, we this basically formats the value and then pass that resulting format string to copy string, which then, this is what I was talking about. We get this formatted string and then pass it to copy string, and immediately breaks that string back apart again. So there's that. There's also cases where we just want to, and I guess that'd be where we're just actually manually adding a single line string, in which case the copy string function is effectively just sort of casting that single line string to an array and then iterating through that one array element and adding it. So like this is something I feel like we could just do directly instead of calling off to a function. But then sort of the other thing that's going on here is, so this is where we, was it diff equal values, where basically this is the difference algorithm that we run if we're doing a strictly equal or loosely equal comparison. And then we ended up basically splitting off a second code path where we then diff unequal values. And one thing here is we're sort of parameterizing whether we're doing like a less than or greater than comparison, so that this actual code here can be identical for both, for regardless of what sort of comparison we're doing. And then this has, well, I stopped myself there because I was saying, well, this has then functions that call, I thought they were actually calling string functions. Let's see what we're doing here. Copy value, delete value, insert value. Copy value. Also, that actually might not be a problem. See, this is one of the things about sitting down and actually, oh, here we go. So we have a copy string. Although I guess that's fine because we don't care, right? We don't need to sort of format that. We're just doing a straight up copy value. Okay, so this might actually be okay, because I was thinking, I guess what I was thinking is we were doing like a insert unequal value, and where's our unequal comparator here? We have like this insert value, and of course this is the prototype, not the actual function. In fact, we've already got this inlined here, so okay. So maybe I'll just get rid of those string functions and inline all that stuff. I guess I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So maybe let's just start with that and see what happens. And maybe the place to start with is, well, we're going to have to change this sort of at the same time everywhere. Because they're all calling to format value, which is currently returning a string. So I suppose maybe a good starting step is, let's go to this format value function. Instead of returning a string, let's return an array of strings. And actually, before I do that, let me oops. I think just to sort of motivate what the changes we're trying to do, maybe just throw in a failing test case here where we can sort of see what's going on. So maybe this turns into like array. I guess it doesn't really matter what this array is. But yeah, so we can see here this array is being formatted in reverse from what we wanted, which is no good. No good. So we're saying we would like this to turn into array 5. Right, that is what we were saying. Yes, that is what we were saying. That's sort of interesting how that decided to do that, but I guess that works. I guess that works. Okay, so now that we have some sort of motivation there, let's go back to diff. And so I guess we maybe just want to return an array of strings there. So, and this gets a little, for the most part, I feel like this is fairly straightforward, except string parts throw a little, whatever you call it, into the gear. A little wrench into things. So what we want to do is we want to build up a prefix. Are we even using this indent anywhere? Is that in the same function? I don't believe it is. Okay, so we don't need this indent anymore. So we're going to call this prefix. If we want to show the key, we'll tack that onto the prefix, and then we'll call this the suffix. So maybe let's just split that out. Then we generate our formatter, or create it rather, and then, so now I think we can just stick the prefix on here and the suffix. And for now, let's just do the same thing. We'll set that to result. And we'll just set that to result. Result, I guess, is going to be array prefix, then the value, and then suffix. If it's a resource, we're going to format the resource with the prefix and the suffix. So what we want to do here, I believe, is let's just format the string. And then if this is the first line, we want to set the result to the prefix, then an open quote, and then a string. If it's the last line, we want to set the result to the string plus the close quote plus the suffix. Otherwise, we will set the result to the prefix plus the string plus the suffix. I suppose we might need this assertion here. Let's just comment that out just to be sure. Otherwise, we will pass in the prefix and the suffix here. And then just return the result. Now, I can't remember if I changed the return type. I did. So let's just see where this gets us. Unless I screwed something up there, everything should still pass and be the same. 1302. Oh, yeah. Good cat. I don't know why that deleted the rest of the line there, but this is in 1307, yeah. So we still need our assertion there. Oh, that's right. Well, I'm being a little silly here. So let's just, right. I said I did not want to change the signature, so let's do that. Is there another place where I'm being silly? I don't think so. All right. But we do have more failing tests, which is not what I expected. So, oh no, if it's the middle line, we don't want to do anything. We just want to set it to the string. Okay. That should fix everything, maybe. Yes, okay, so now we're back to our one test. So, at this point now, I guess we'll change this to an array, which means we no longer need to do this implosion. This is going to go back to this. And I guess this is going to go to now arrays. And then so I think that should fix that function, and now we're going to have to deal with the fallout. So where are we here? Okay. So this is in what? Delete. Actually, I wonder why I did this. That was totally foolish of me. Yeah, that's just me not thinking. I mean, the change I'm making is still worth making, but I could have just fixed my test by taking out this array reverse here. Whatever. So guess we'll call this maybe formatted, and then so for each formatted as, I guess, string, we will just tack on that string, and the same thing here. Formatted. Oops. So that should work there, I guess. All right, 1108. And then 1118, I guess. $11.83, I suppose. So now here, I guess copy value maybe is the only place where no, I guess not. I guess not. I was thinking copy value is the only place where we call it for both equal and unequal comparisons, but that's not true. In some cases, we do actually call insert and delete values. So all of these basically need to be parameterized by whether we should tack those on in reverse or not. So I guess we'll just make that a parameter. So boy. So we'll do that, and I guess if reverse, and I guess for now, we will just pass in formatted, and I believe I'm sort of half tempted to just write my own iterator, but I kind of thought so let's see here. I kind of thought PHP had like a reverse iterator. Let's maybe take a look at that. This iterator is kind of making me, I'm having an irrational reaction to that. Flag. So are you telling me there is not a reverse iterator? Because what I am don't really I feel like, of course I don't know this, calling array reverse actually returns a reversed array, which I don't want to do at all. I just want to reverse it or iterate it in reverse order. So okay, I guess PHP does not have. Yes, this defeats the entire point as far as I can tell of having a reverse iterator. So okay, I guess we're writing our own iterators, and I don't feel particularly inclined, since this is just internal. I don't know. There is like an iterable interface. Or traversable, I guess. So we cannot actually implement the traversable interface. We have to. Well, I guess we can maybe just implement this. This doesn't seem like too huge of a pain. All right, so I guess what have I changed here? So I guess before I do that, let's maybe what was the last thing I did? Okay. Let's just make our tests pass, or not our tests pass, but well, I really like spelling formatted that way. So we'll do this. Formatted equals that. And then okay, let's just be gross about this. That obviously is going to go away. Uh, 11, so I guess this is going to be the same thing. And then 1206. Oops. Now I should just be back to our one field test. Yes. Okay, so I guess we'll go here into util. Where do I want to put this? I don't know. Let's just put it here. And here's a question. Okay. I guess this implements iterator. So public function current. public function key, public function next, public function rewind, public function valid. So I guess we're saying this returns a mixed, key returns mixed, next returns bool, set is valid, and rewind returns void. So I guess we need our constructor here. Boy, what do I want to call this? Values equals values, maybe? And this is going to be an array. And this index, I guess, equals 0, and this length equals count values. So, all right. So we're going to have our private values. Private index. This is also going to be an int private length. Okay, so current, I guess, returns. Guess we'll just pop these all open. Returns the current element. So we're going to return this values, this index. Okay. Key returns the current I wonder so here's the thing, right? There isn't necessarily a clean way to get the key from an index without like pulling out these keys, I believe. So instead of handling that, well, we have current. So I'm thinking we could just use this kind of these internal iterator functions, but I actually don't know. Right, if this points to an invalid value, it returns false, but of course the array could have false in it as well. So how do you actually know? So I guess we'll just maybe suck this up. So we'll do. I guess actually that means we're pulling this array apart. Right, this is going to return and then keys is going to equal that turns to array if I could spell it. So that works. I feel like this is turning into a little bit gnarlier than I would have liked, I guess. Move forward. Oh. Wait. Am I going crazy? I guess I am. Okay. Next does not return anything. Why did I think that returned a bool? And then rewind, I assume, just sets us back to the first element and checks if the current position is valid. Okay. So do I like this? I don't know if I do, because right, this is accounting for generic arrays, and I think I just want this to be like a straight up list iterator. Because I feel like having to pull apart this array defeats the whole point of having this. So I don't know. I guess what I can maybe do here is I feel like I won't be able to do that. Oh, you know what? But I don't need to call it array. I can just call it a list because it just said this is a list. Oops. Okay, so we're going to return. Okay, so I think this looks all right. Return. Oops, I forgot to Silence my phone. All right, so for current, we just get the value. For key, we just return the index. We increase the index, rewind it. Okay, so I think I like that. So next is list reverse iterator. So here we'll do length, and then we'll say that equals length minus 1. So all we need to do now is return the index, return this key we're going to have to mess around with. And let me just think about that for a little while. So the index, if we want to map so an index of 0 is okay, right? And we're saying that this is going to map to this length minus index minus 1, I believe. So, right, if we initialize index to length minus 1, this is going to go to this length minus 1, which if you distribute the minus, goes to minus length plus 1 minus 1, which goes to 0. Okay, so I think that's what we want there. Now, the next thing I need to figure out is how to type hint an iterable. PHP stand, because I believe there's some wackiness there. Iterables. Okay, so I don't think I guess that's all we need. So this shouldn't change anything, but let's just run static stat. Oh, that's right. I was gonna say let's run static analysis there to make sure we didn't screw anything up, but we did not get very far because wow, all right. Okay. So this is going to be exceedingly annoying, isn't it? Right, because the engine now is starting to enforce these signatures. So, right, I can't type hint these the way they're shown in the documentation here. Um, because these type hints don't exist until PHP 8 or 8.1 or so. Hold on a second. Okay, well, hopefully that muted me. And looks like I'm unmuted. Hmm. I kind of feel like I just want to implement my own and not, I don't know. Right, because all I really need is, so let me go back to, where do we have copy string? Like, literally all I need is while something like iter as next or something, or iter, I guess if we're just going to use iter valid, then value equals iter. Like, I could just do that, and then like that's literally all I need. So I think that's all I'm going to do. So we'll have valid, and then we'll have next. And this is going to be, and this is going to go to post increment. And I could just all make that one line. And I guess what I could really do to make PHP Stan happy is templatize this. So this is going to be T. This is going to return T, and this is going to return bool. This is going to be the exact same thing. But maybe this is going, let's see. Well, we don't actually need, right? We just said we don't need. So this is literally going to turn from a plus. Okay. That was silly of me. This is going to turn into a T. And right, I got rid of the implements on there. Uh, where are we here? So current, next. And then, yeah. Actually, did I? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Oh. Did I do the same thing up here? I did. Okay. So somehow I did not move to the window I wanted to move to. So for insert string, this is, I guess, going to take a list. Well, I suppose this actually needs to turn into an interface. Which I suspect means that I don't actually need to type into all of that. So this is going to be a so next invalid. Can remove that. I think I can remove that. That needs to be the same. Those need to be the same. All right, now let's see what PHP Stan has to say about anything. One. Oh. So what, I need to specify the type of the general arrays. Where does it talk about generics? Type variables, class names, class level generics, interface. Yeah, yeah. So I've got to, okay. Okay. What is... All right. So now we should still have our one failing test, I believe. Yes. All right, so this is going to be a list iterator string. As is this. As is that. Oops. That's right. I think these are all these functions. Yeah. So what did I just say? Well, iter valid. I guess this is going from string to iter. It's going to be a diff insert. And then this is going to be a diff delete. So let's just see what that all breaks. Oh, wait a sec. Why? How did I screw that up so bad? Okay. Okay, well, yeah, that should be state. Oh, for Christ's sake. Okay, so where are we here? 591. Well, I don't know. Let's maybe work backwards. Any other stupidity in here? So here, I guess, is now where we need that, and so we say if reverse well, I guess what we can do is just strings equals new. Otherwise, strings and then we'll just pass in strings. Let's see what that does for us. Twelve, 17. And what's 1184? I guess I did not do that in order. So insert values seems to be okay. That's yelling at me at so much for working from the bottom up, but So if reverse, we're saying strings equals new list reverse iterator formatted. Otherwise, strings equals new list forward iterator. So let's see, right, our next error then should be 1184. Yes. So this is going to be the same thing. I don't know, I suppose I could... I suppose at this point it doesn't really even matter. But there may be... I'm just thinking I may want to put this condition, I may want to do this actually and insert strings. But let's just, all things in time, I suppose. Okay, 937, where are we here? So this is, what are we doing? We're doing, I think, let's see what that has to say about anything. Looks like that's happy with that. So 934, that seems to be unhappy. Now that's a copy value. Expect bool. Oh, yeah. So show subkey, and I think reverse here is going to be true. 921. This is going to be true. 916. This is all going to be true. Right? I think so. Right? What are we in here? No. It's all going to be false, actually. Did I not do a backward search there? I guess not. Okay, let's try 911. Uh, 903. $895. 889 go. I think we're still in 851. 46. Also false. 828. All right, so now where are we here? Build diff. This is going to be, all right, what did I say it was? 828. This is going to be true. 22. 815. 809. Oops. So we can figure out how to type my numbers correctly. What are we? 809. 797. 616. Oh, wait, okay, so this is right, okay. So this is just gonna be think that, and this is gonna be the same thing. That's what 615. 611. Uh, 611. So 2, do we have copy string? So yeah, this is going to be uh, 593. So this is going to turn into I don't know. I guess we could just do this in here as string then state diff equals new diff insert diff delete, and this is what, from start. I think that maybe. But here's one thing here, right? Well, let's just come back through here. What line am I on here? This goes up to 586, so 549, I guess. We want those reversed. 548 and 544. So we get, let's see what happens. So 914. Oh, this is copy string. Okay. So that should solve that one, I believe. Nope. Oh, because, yeah, I did the wrong. It did not need that extra parameter. Well, I guess we'll just... So what are we doing here? Indent. So I feel like this is also going to turn into prefix. Prefix equals that. Suffix. From value to value. How did that work? Oh, because I called it value. All right. So instead of right. Actually, I guess we'll call it strings. And so we no longer need to split now. First line. This is going to be... Oh, you know what? Actually, it doesn't even... I think what I want to do here is we'll pass in that and the suffix. This is going to be the same thing, because that will then stick the whatever the suffix is on the last array item, I believe. What we're going to do is we're going to have this prefix with string 0. And to start is going to be... Oh, wait a second. Okay, I keep screwing this up, so let's try to not be... Okay, what was... So what was that? I think that was key. Am I even using that anywhere? No. All right, so that was totally stupid. Okay, so we're calling this indent, I guess, because we're not actually having a prefix. So where do I have prefix? Okay, so that is actually the format key, and this is going to be string 0. As is that. We don't need that anymore. And we should not need that. So this is going to actually turn into an I. For I equals 1. And then I guess we'll do C equals count strings. I less than C plus I. We're going to tack on that, and then we're going to do that. So let's see. I'll be amazed if that works, but you never know. You never know. Didn't I just call this indent? Oh, no, I called it... Ugh. And I broke a lot of things now. Many things are broken. Why is that? So we actually got... Okay, so obviously there are places here where I am not... doing this correctly. Start value should be okay there. And value. It's not returns an array of strings. No. Great. Okay. Alright, so what is going on here? Oh, how many things did I break? 9. So test diff, test remove text. So we expected to get... So where did I go wrong? I guess because... I think where I'm going wrong is in format scalar. And now I wonder if I should split this out. Well, let's just uh So I kind of want to say something like if start, like set start to 0, set end to stir pause, and let me just look this up. Haystack, that's going to be yeah, offset will be start. And then, so what am I doing here? I guess for start, right, false does not equal end. Because I think this returns false, right? False does not equal end. And then we want to set start equals end of +1. We want to put this, oh, but we've got to, so I guess we do that after we format this, maybe. So formatted equals, so what we're going to do is formatted equals that, and then if the original string is a bar, or the original variable is a string, otherwise we just tack on formatted. So then this formatted equals substring. Let me just look this up. Oh no. So I think we don't want to include that new line, right? So length is going to equal end minus start +1. So that's going to be var, oh no, the formatted. And actually this is going to be formatted. What the? Formatted, the offset is going to be start, and then this is going to be length. What that does. Syntax error, of course. What is the problem here? Did not close my if statement. Oh, we need to reset. End equals stir pause formatted. Okay, so maybe I just do this as a while loop. So start equals 0. I don't know. Start equals 0. While false does not equal end equals stir pause formatted start. Length equals, and we want to do start equals lane +1, or not lane, end. Okay, so now I have even more failures, which is pretty dope. Oh, because now we need to tack on. Right, we need to tack on whatever's left. Uh, we don't want to add this +1, right? Because we don't want to include the new line itself. Okay, so now, oddly, because of course, now we've got the problem with not putting stuff in reverse in there. I guess, I don't know, like, no, I guess that's not a problem here, right? This array is not getting put on correctly, I feel like. So what do I want to do? I want to do copy or delete, insert value. So that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Right, what were those last ones in? Compare equal, yeah, diff equal values. We want to reverse that. We want to reverse that. Right? Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So if reverse, so I guess I'm confused where I'm getting that wrong. What's going on here? This is, I think this is in, um, right, we put on, I guess I don't understand how that's getting swapped around. Well, okay, is this my only failure? It looks like it. So I guess we're gonna, this is what, test diff identical, and function is gonna equal, we just, okay, so formatting subdiff, from equals, I guess we'll do format variable from to equals format variable to. Let's see what we get there. Wow, that's a lot more than I was expecting to get. Because I feel like what I'm looking for is this array, and I suppose it would not hurt to pull up the test. And this is what? Test diffs, different. So so expecting to go from 2. So 2 goes away and 3 goes away. Right, 2 goes to bar. Oh, this is this. Okay, so this is this is up here. Let's see what we get there. Do we non-matching keys for from equals 4? So value equals array 2, 3. Value equals 2, array 2, 3, and from. Okay, so what are we doing wrong here? Format indent. Or, oh, yeah, we want to, this, here's what we're doing wrong. So I guess what we'll do is we'll do a iter equals new list reverse iterator. This is going to be strings. Of course, in this case, right? Okay, so for C, I equals C minus 1, I greater than 0. I think that's all we need to do. And I suppose saving that file would help. Okay. Huzzah! Huzzah! So I suppose that might motivate putting in thread. I could use I don't know. I don't know. Well, I'm actually kind of happy with that. Not gonna lie. Actually, kind of happy with that. I guess I gotta decide if that's where I'm gonna call it a stream. Or not, I suppose. Because I could, I know there's a little bit of refactoring I want to do, and there's actually, let me pull up my notes here. I mean, that's a nice stopping point. There's a little bit more I want to do, but I feel like approaching it with a fresh head would be probably better. Yeah, I think so. So let me just take a look at my changes here. Oh, yeah, I forget that, well, you know, so I guess you know, I don't need this, what do I call it? Line, split line, the split line. I guess I don't need that anymore. I have a feeling I'm not using this key sort recursive anymore, too. I am using it. Okay. So that's good to know. Where am I using that? Actually, I'm curious now. Cert unequal. I feel like I don't actually need to do that there. No, I do, right? Okay, so because this is a loose comparison, and right, the logic here is, okay, we're gonna actually format a full diff there because there's an assumption that, right, it's a loose comparison that failed, so maybe you expected something to fail that passed because, right, you expected something to be unequal, but they were equal because you're using loose comparison. And so we're actually doing a strict diff here. And so before we send it in, we want to sort the arrays because a loose comparison does not take into account the order of keys. So that is good. Okay. And then I guess we're also calling key sort recursively from itself. So, right, 97 I assume is going to be, yeah. Okay. What else do we have here? Check reference. Yeah, there is I think some cool stuff that could, well, maybe cool's overstating it, but some other potential cleanup. I guess I'm not actually using to value there, right? Is that what's going on there? That's why I only picked off value. Yeah, so I guess and I need to pick that up because we're passing that in as a, well, you know what? I guess we don't need to because this is now just a direct property access. So let's do that. How do you feel about that, PHP Stan? Okay. Feels pretty good, I guess. This kind of almost makes me want to put suffix first in the function signature, but probably not necessary. Probably not necessary. And actually, I guess, right, what I said was where are we calling this? Okay, so we want copy or insert or delete string. So where are we copying those? Or 1, 2, 3, and then just the functions themselves. So bye-bye. So this is going to be iter. And iter. So we will call this, again, iter. Iter. Okay, just get the low-hanging fruit here. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. All right, I'm in the formatting branch. What do we want to call this? I guess format values, format diff values in correct order. I don't know. Okay, despite deleting all that stuff, okay. Still ended up adding lines overall, which is somewhat surprising. Yeah, this is a little bit surprising. Oh, well, I guess it all came from I guess I only deleted what, that little function, but then I added an interface and 2 classes, so there you go. All right, so I'm gonna call it there. Guess I'll probably come back on tomorrow and maybe for once and for all finish just going through the diff stuff and doing any last cleanup and stuff I want to do and sort of knock out these last edge cases. But we'll see what happens, I guess. If anybody's lurking or watching the VOD, appreciate you joining me, and whoever, whenever, wherever you are, I bid you peace and take care.